Number 15, the Apox Theropod deck building game from Die Hard Games. This is now in its second edition. I only have the first. You can go and check out my video on it. The second edition has improved things a lot and expanded on it a lot. But for me, the original game, the first edition that was, I think, only available on Kickstarter, there might have been a limited print run for retail. This is a very good game. It's hit my top 20. I've got it here at number 15. This game took me by surprise, and a great many of you may not be aware of it. It was a Kickstarter project, and one that didn't pass without its difficulties. That's Kickstarter, right? Consumers are still very demanding of independent publishers trying to develop and deliver a game for the first time. It's a lot tougher than it looks. The immediate attraction for me, though, was the theme. These are real dinosaurs developed by someone with an understanding of the subject matter. They're not cartoon movie-style imaginations. Okay, there is, of course, dramatic license. This is a game, after all, not a textbook. But the other attraction was that this is a game designed with a soloist in mind. In fact, my impression is that this is best as a solo game and was probably better play-tested and developed as a solo game. As its name suggests, it's a deck builder too, and yes, this is a traditional deck builder with everything you'd expect from such a game, increasing and culling your deck. What's even more impressive is that the game's designer, Herschel Hofmeyer, also completed all development, graphic design and artwork himself, as well as taking care of delivery and distribution. Pretty impressive, huh? As I say, this game is now in its second edition with an updated rulebook, updated cards and an updated distribution model. Lessons learned, huh? As it goes, the first edition, which is now branded the Exotic Predators Limited Edition, does stand alone as a damn fine solo card game. Despite the changes distributors asked of Herschel post-production, presumably to make the game scale better for more players, this is another game that sets up quickly and has a relatively small footprint. Dinosaurs with small footprint. And cracks along at an exciting pace for the soloist. There's plenty of content to keep you amused, with lots of variability in its setup, using the different alpha predators to play and compete against. Do look out for the second edition, as it has extra goodies and a bunch of mini expansions. At number 14, DR Congo, Hope out of Horror from the Ragnar Brothers. The Democratic Republic of Congo was one of my favourite games in 2015. I managed to pick up my copy directly from the Ragnar team, Gary, Steve and Phil, at the UK Games Expo. And that was great because I'd had access to a pre-production prototype that I was able to demonstrate on Box of Delights. But it was alone. I've not missed the game so much as when I had to send the prototype back. So, I was thrilled to get the final game into my hands in June. And for once I found a game that had a couple of gaming elements I really like, done well. Economics and politics. Read Steve Kendall's thoughts on the theme. I'll leave a link for you. When a board game prompts me to widen my knowledge, then I'm always impressed. History and current affairs are subjects I'm really interested in, and there's no reason why games can't focus on them, just like any other art form. What these guys are good at doing is finding ways to present very interesting themes and to give them their very own brand of British design. Their games, like many other on the UK scene, such as Burley Games, Grublin, Surprise Stare, Yay Games, are delivering Euro games that don't quite fit the Euro mould. I'm calling them Britbox, if you'll forgive me coining a new term, are more thematically driven, but is not loaded with text. Okay, these designs welcome randomness. They understand the joy that comes from unpredictability. There's a quirkiness or eccentricity, and they don't take themselves quite as seriously as your more designer Euro. One of the joys of Britbox design is that we like to break a game round into phases that we each play in different ways. Not content with delivering a game that does just one thing, they instead give us a game with variety, relishing the interplay of different design ideas. And DR Congo is a great example of Britbox design. By combining area control, route building, the economics of resource management and speculative trading, and even conflict and event-driven AI. I love the way each round you get to take on a ministerial role, allowing you to shape the market or the military or the government spending in the round ahead. I like that the emerging game board tells the story of how the game developed, as right on theme the players develop the infrastructure to build a viable economy. I relish the puzzle that the game offers, challenging you to choose between short-term gain or long-term development, between defending against the mounting insurgency threat or taking the fight to them. The variety of choices you have at every phase of the game keeps it alive with entertainment. It's a joy to own, and a joy to play. That's DR Congo at number 14. At number 13, Cards of Cthulhu, another Dan Viersen Games title, and a game that's flown somewhat under the radar. For me, this game delivers what I wanted from Ghost Stories and Yggdrasil. It uses the same precept of surviving against a timer deck that builds the tension and pressure towards the game-ending climax. But this time it does so without it ever feeling like hard work. For me, Ghost Stories and Yggdrasil, they're on my top 100, but they can feel like hard work sometimes, right? But Cards of Cthulhu is a great solitaire puzzle. It delivers the simplicity and tension that we need from a card game that can be picked up, played and packed away quickly and without leaving you with a headache. The theme is really incidental, I guess, but it doesn't feel that way because the game is supported by some engrossing artwork from a wealth of artists, including digital artists Claude Quinot's epic box cover. Take a look. This game places so highly on my list not because it does anything revolutionary, but it delivers a very streamlined, simple set of rules, great components, immediate playability, and an engrossing, tension-building challenge. It's the kind of game you can pick up and play solitaire, just to relax and pass the time. And number 12, Dawn of the Zeds from the Victory Point Games. This is the penultimate States of Siege game on the list. Oh yes, there's still one more to come. Dawn of the Zeds has claimed a late spot in the top 20. Zeds is packed with the most action, the most thrills, the most theatre, the most drama of any States of Siege game. Oh yes. You'll be blasting Zeds with shotguns and sending them skyward with high kicks. You'll be fighting them in the sewers and steamrollering them in the streets. This is the State Siege game that delivers the biggest thematic punch. It will have you screaming with terror as the zombie hordes shamble through your roadblocks, swarm over your villages, and is spewing up through the sewers and into your homes. They are menacing and they are relentless. The third edition is the one I've listed. It's the one that delivers the most content, and it's also the one that delivers competitive and cooperative play. There's one heck of a lot of game in this box. And the game layers on the rules as you move through from the basic game onto the apocalyptic game up to the level 5 director's cut. If you ever want to buy just one zombie game, then this is it. At number 11, Navajo Wars from GMT Games. Navajo Wars is a tough one to pick up and learn. On the face of it, it should be quite straightforward. It's States of Siege meets resource management meets wargame. It's a beast. I think what makes it difficult to pick up is the unusual mix of genres. The mechanisms are familiar, but they're placed together in an unfamiliar way. It's not immediately clear what you should be doing, why you should be doing it, and when. The presentation of a beautiful board with ordinary-looking chits is a strange juxtaposition that makes the game state difficult to read for me. You'll need to spend time with the game, learning how to interpret the game state at a glance. It's a game that doesn't make its secrets immediately obvious. It walks you through in micro detail how each atomic rule works, but it never reveals the big picture. This is where you need to explore the game and discover how to play and what you must do to win. There are indeed a sequence of cause and effects that you must learn and follow to put the big picture together for yourself. The rules are very well considered, and although the mix of genres will tangle you up as you start out, it ends up delivering a very rewarding experience, like the best cocktail, but with a kick. There are some dramatic turns in the game, like the temptation of the ceremony cards, that can backfire as you wait to use them, or the game-changing victory point checks that either see you consolidating your position or, more likely, see your immediate priorities take a drastic shift. The tour de force, though, is the enemy instruction function, which bestows a really clever method of selecting the enemy actions that strikes that critical balance between the downtime of a complex heuristic and the arbitrary response a pure random method gives. Go check it out, it's well worth the effort. I highly recommend a basic video overview that Lines 42 gives. I'll leave a link below as well. That's it for part 1. Come back in part 2 and I'll give you 10 down to 1. Thanks for watching.